So it really doesn't happen very often that you get dramatic changes in opinion in medicine in an important area. And even less often do those dramatic changes of opinion dramatically increase the role for pathologists. But that's exactly what's happened in the areas of regenerative medicine on the one hand and xenotransplantation on the other. Have a look at this newly appearing article from Jason, from one of the luminaries in regenerative medicine and one of the primary people in single cell transcriptomics. They wrote together this article, Regrow or Repair, an update on potential regenerative therapies for the kidney. And you may think that's sort of an odd title, eh? So what it suggests is that starting from scratch in decellularized organs is probably not going to work, and that you have to look more to repair for true stem cell generated positive effects. And in fact, what they say is quite striking. The staggering complexity of kidney architecture is such that recreating such an intricate organ in totality may never be possible, or even to replace selected renal functions with stem cell derived engineered tissue. Finally, they say, while there's a long way to go, advances in cellular manufacturing, tissue engineering, stem cell derived human kidney cell types may one day enable the generation of transplantable renal tissues, potentially exceeding the outcomes of dialysis and addressing the lack of available organs for transplantation. So that puts off the success of stem cell generated complex organs to a more vigorous and degree than I think I've ever seen in print in recent publications. Well, since the Robert Montgomery first in man pig to human kidney transplant was announced in October, it's interesting to look at the literature on that side. Now, in September, the month before that operation was conducted by Dr. Montgomery, there was this review by Cooper and Hera. You cannot stay in the laboratory forever. Taking pig kidney xenotransplantation from the laboratory to the clinic. And so in that article, there's this exciting news. They say because of the relative absence of good clinical markers of rejection, needle biopsies of the xenograft may need to be carried out more frequently after kidney xenotransplantation than is currently necessary after allotransplantation. Histopathologic features of rejection include glomerular injury and some thrombotic microangiopathy. So that suggests that we're going to be getting into xenotransplantation in a big way, which I think is probably true, and that pathologists will play quite an important role in that. And it's kind of funny then to think of those two fields, regenerative medicine and xenotransplantation, in the past 10 years. 10 years ago, in an after-dinner talk at the Paris Banff Transplant Pathology meeting, I, for the first time, presented the idea of a future Banff classification of tissue engineering pathology, and saying that transplant pathologists of today need to prepare themselves to be tissue engineering pathologists of tomorrow. And that was kind of accepted and became part of our policy in 2017. However, there's not really clinical activity in that area. We are not transplanting stem cell generated complex organs today. On the other hand, we are at the threshold of actually doing xenotransplantation, with one such operation already completed by Dr. Montgomery successfully. And the time course there is very similar. The WHO and the International Xenotransplantation Association, back in 2011, the same time I was talking about tissue engineering pathology, we're proposing that we need guidelines and rules for exactly how we will proceed when we start clinical trials of pig to human transplants. And there's actually been a lot of activity on that, including in a meeting in Munich in 2019. And so that's kind of parallel to my efforts to generate enthusiasm for a world of tissue engineering transplantation, which seems now to be farther off than xenotransplantation. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to tell you, that pathologists, as important as they are today, will be even more important tomorrow. How about that, eh?